Welcome back everyone to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. Today I'm going to be making a very popular recipe, and you may find that it's very popular at your local pubs. They are fully loaded potato skins. Potato skins came about in the early 70s. Many restaurants in the States laid claim to being the first ones to serve potato skins. It was a way to be more economical. You know, when times were tough, perhaps in the restaurant world, reusing the potato skins and making some extra money off of that. So, one of the restaurants was in Washington, D.C., one was in Chicago, another very popular restaurant, TGI Fridays. The one in Washington, D.C., which is supposedly the first one, was a very heavy on the meat type of restaurant. Not very veggie friendly there. It is said that this recipe actually originated from the late James Beard. He was a popular cook in America. He published his own cookbook. He had some cooking classes in New York City. He actually was born in Portland, Oregon. The restaurant based out of Washington, D.C. that acquired the late James Beard's recipe actually had some help with the late and great Liberace. He made a couple of suggestions. They took those suggestions on, and they were serving potato skins in no time. And they became a fan favorite. And the rest was history. So let's head over to our kitchen and get cooking. First, preheat your oven to 425. First of all, we have our thoroughly washed russet potatoes. They've been dried very well as well. We're just gonna put a couple of holes in them so they don't explode in the oven. Make sure they're thoroughly dry. We're going to coat them in some oil. Make sure they're well coated. Just enough to coat them. Put some black pepper on, sprinkle on our salt. So now we'll put them in the oven for about an hour. Here I'm slicing up 1/2 of a Spanish onion. I'm chopping up the dill and the chives. These will be incorporated into our sauce. I'm chopping up some jalapeño. It's up to you if you want it spicy or not. And I'm slicing up some cherry tomatoes. And we have some washed and dried arugula. And I have used these beans for something else, and I'm going to incorporate them into this meal. It's a good idea to flip your potatoes halfway through the cooking time. Now I'll get our stovetop set to medium, get some oil on the pan, get it nice and hot. And we'll add our Spanish onion. And stir it periodically. We're going to want to caramelize these onions. This will provide an extra layer of flavor. Now our potatoes are ready, so they're coming out of the oven. You may want to let them cool a little bit before you cut them in half, or you can use tongs like I do here. You're going to want to scoop out the majority of the inside, so you may want the outside to be a little bit on the cool side to handle. You can save the filling for another meal. If you're not going to use the potato right away, you can always put it in the freezer along with your soup stock bag or soup stock container. It would make for a great soup. I am leaving some of the potato to allow for structure, but it's up to you how much you want to thin it out. Since these are fully loaded potato skins, this is why I'm doing this. I used avocado oil to start off with, but now I'm going to brush the insides with olive oil because I just think it will add that nice dimension of flavor. So I'll just brush the olive oil on evenly. Add some pepper. Add some salt. Now we're going to place them on our baking sheet facing downward so they get browned and crispy. And now you're going to want to put them in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. Here I have some broccoli stems which I chopped up. I'm going to add our caramelized onions to them. I'll add our beans. I'll add our tomatoes and jalapeno. And our arugula. We'll mix it up well. Now for part of our sauce, I'm going to microplane 3 cloves of garlic. I'll add our dill and chives to this bowl. I'm going to add a 3/4 cup of our vegan plain yogurt. I'll add some salt and some pepper. And I'm going to add some juice of some lemon. I'll get about a tablespoon's worth. Give it a nice stir. And I'll pop this in the fridge until our potatoes are ready. Now I've taken out the potatoes and we're ready to stuff them. You can see how they're nice and crispy and have those brown edges. Before we get our potatoes stuffed, I'm going to cook up some Yves vegan Canadian bacon. If you already have the vegan bacon bits, you can just skip this step. I personally think it's better when you cook it up fresh. Now we'll get stuffing, so we'll start off with our vegan cheese shreds. We'll add them on the first layer at the bottom. They have changed the recipe, so give it a try again if you didn't like it the first time. Remember to flip the vegan bacon. You want to get it nice and crispy. Now it's time to scoop in our filling. Our vegan bacon is ready, so I'll just put it aside on a plate to cool for a minute or two. Now I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces. We'll add our final layer of the vegan cheese shreds. And we'll add our vegan bacon. Now we'll pop them back in the oven for an additional 10 to 15 minutes. We want the vegan cheese to get nice and melty. And they're ready to come out, and I'm excited to try them. I also cooked up some rapini to go with these. It's that time again, I get to try it. I made some rapini to go along with our potato skins as well. You're gonna wanna let them cool off before you dive in. We also have our lovely sauce to go along with it. Okay, here we go. C'est très bon. Making a mess as usual. There you go, another comforting recipe to add to your recipe booklets. Great for get-togethers as well.
delicious.
Feel free to let me know if you've tried this recipe or others. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel. There's going to be a new recipe every Monday, keeping things interesting in my kitchen and in yours. Bon appetit!